Therefore, as digital capital, it may either retire or erase the national debt or change our debt from 40 trillion to 40 trillion in net assets. Thus, it is a very potent financial tool. Additionally, American businesses, including mine, are making money off of Bitcoin. If they continue to capitalize, their Bitcoin assets alone will be valued between $20 and $40 trillion. Therefore, it's evidently a very important topic to discuss when discussing the possible future price action and potential of these industries, given the Trump administration's focus on cryptocurrency reserve assets, and the fact that many other industry participants, as Michael Saylor mentioned, have amassed substantial cryptocurrency holdings in order to get ready for this technological revolution. I mean, according to Michael Saylor's example, Bitcoin will reach tens of millions of dollars per coin at some point in the next 10 years. Additionally, that will enable cryptocurrencies like XRP to reach ridiculous heights we never truly believed were conceivable. Here's the thing though, there is no doubt that the liquidity entering these markets is occurring. The United States will establish a crypto reserve. Not only will ETFs be available, but some businesses will also be purchasing cryptocurrencies like XRP, and institutional adoption will take place. Retail adoption is on the horizon. Everything is taking place. What would the possible price movement of XRP be? In today's video, we will undoubtedly be delving into that and hearing a great deal of Michael Saylor's thoughts regarding the larger cryptocurrency market and the amount of liquidity that may exist. Now that everyone has seen it, hit the like button and let's start watching the video. I believe that because momentum is truly growing, the past 2 weeks have been amazing for both Bitcoin and the strategic Bitcoin reserve. There were 3 topics discussed or objectives in the realm of digital assets 2 weeks ago. You mean a Stablecoin Act, the Genius Bill, the Genesis, a measure to produce and distribute stable coinage in the United States, and the asset class of digital currency is actually covered by it. A law pertaining to market structure is then discussed, and that is to establish a whole framework for digital assets most likely to issue digital securities or tokenized securities. The Bitcoin Act, often known as the Strategic Bitcoin Bill, comes next. The third priority was that, and the location of that in Washington, D.C. was unclear. Although there was support, many were curious as to whether the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve had gained importance over the previous 2 weeks or if the executive order had made it the top priority. Thus, it was made by the president. Additionally, I believe that some extremely significant events occurred. The president established the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve on Thursday night, approximately a week ago. The executive order stated that only Bitcoin should be placed in the reserve, advised against selling it, and instructed the Treasury and Commerce secretaries to find cost-effective ways to buy more Bitcoin. I believe it was the strongest endorsement of any asset I'm not familiar with by a U.S. president in a century. The president might have stated, "We're going to, I'm directing the government to acquire silver and never sell it." This is something you might want to avoid. It would have been an unusual declaration if I had said, "And I want to buy more silver," or pick any asset. The Digital Assets Summit, which I believe followed, was attended by the President, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of Commerce, and the Secretary of Small Business Administration, all of whom reaffirmed their support for those points. Together with the fact that all of the leaders in the industry were present at the same time and in agreement, that was truly pretty incredible. The most significant statement made in this sector in 4 years, in my opinion, was made on Friday night following that meeting, but I believe it was overlooked by many. People probably didn't know what had transpired. The crypto czar David Sachs stated categorically on the All-In podcast that the U.S. government only acknowledges one cryptocurrency asset as decentralized. According to Sachs, Bitcoin is a store of value and a decentralized asset. It is in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve for this reason. It's the sole one. The cabinet member in charge of digital assets policy essentially gave very explicit instructions that Bitcoin is a digital commodity, that is, an asset without an issuer, and the President of the United States and the country's policy are that way. And I believe that Gary Gensler of the SEC hinted for 4 years that Bitcoin is a commodity and nothing else is in 100 different ways. However, by suing everyone else, he indicated it in a really covert manner that wasn't particularly helpful. Sachs stated that Bitcoin is the asset without the issuer, so what you had here was a new administration expressing it in a positive way. When the time comes, we will take into account any additional cryptocurrency assets that turn out to be decentralized. Therefore, we're not ruling out the idea that there might be another commodity. However, as of right now, we are aware of one, and our goal is to offer a valid framework for the issuance of digital currencies, tokens, and securities. Naturally, the president gave the order for that to reach his desk by August. I'd want to see it by August, he remarked. In fact, he stated in the initial executive order that it would be done within 6 months, which means by the end of July. In essence, Michael Saylor is saying that for the first time in a long time, the sector as a whole has the regulatory certainty necessary to form alliances, cultivate relationships, and take the necessary actions to develop into a genuinely global enterprise. Additionally, this should be extremely exciting because it has the potential to bring about a lot of positive price action for both XRP and Bitcoin, which is, as we all know, Michael Saylor's favorite cryptocurrency. This is especially true for currencies that have use cases and utilities that people will find intrinsically very valuable. And XRP is a great example of something that I believe will become more and more popular as people seek to reduce expenses, speed up processes, and find additional features that are exclusive to real blockchains. Therefore, I believe that a deal with Trump there is undoubtedly in the works with regard to the escrow. We already know that a strategic crypto reserve using XRP is taking place. In order for certain cryptocurrency projects located in the United States to be successful and have an impact on a worldwide level, numerous other bills are being established. Thus, this is the glorious future for which we have all long waited. I understand that you are all undoubtedly thinking, what is the price of XRP? How much will it be worth? XRP may eventually be worth between $2,000 and $22,000 per currency when these secret ledgers truly go public, according to the samples of private ledgers that we presently have. I know many of you are asking yourself, how is it possible? For instance, Bank of America uses a private XRP ledger to enable transactions, conduct transactions, and generally determine whether this technology is beneficial for them. Naturally, they also get to examine information such as the number of transactions that are dropped. As you can see, the value of XRP would be $22,000 per coin if Bank of America and JP Morgan were to use it for all of their transactions. We are discussing their cross-border operations, everything they do on the XRP ledger, and the $22,000 price per coin. Now it is entirely up for dispute whether these people will stick with using a public ledger or a private ledger. It's entirely up for dispute whether the Ripple team will use their escrow to pay these people a ton of XRP once more. There will be folks in the XRP community who will tell you literally anything they want about this topic, but you guys should find it incredibly fascinating. There will be far more price action if adoption increases beyond what we now have. And I believe it has become very evident to all of you that this will eventually occur. Well, that's about it. If you're thrilled about XRP's future and want to see its price soar and you want more people to know about the current regulatory framework, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe button so that everyone can watch this video. I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.